Hi everyone, it's Dee again. Today we're gonna make these lovely bracelets using that metallic bracelet that you can see there, those metallic bracelets and Ankara fabric to make that. So for this video, the things that you will need are listed on the side: glue, waste fabric, old bracelets, pair of scissors to chop them off. Make sure your glue is a fabric glue. At this point, I'd like to request you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, to support me make more content for you. Now I'm going to take my scissors and cut my strips of fabric in strips that are like 1 inch wide. The length is as your waist fabric determines, but the longer the strips, the better. And I'm going to show you why in this video. The longer the strips, the better. But if you don't have that, don't worry, you can still make this with the tiny pieces of fabric that you have. So first cut your fabric in strips of around 1 inch width, and the length will be determined by your waist fabrics. And then after cutting them all out, you will go to your sewing machine if you have one, and then you will fold it like that. If you don't have one, you don't have to stitch. You can do it without stitching. So it's one fold, then stitch. Just do it on one side because the other side will be hidden at the end of it all. I'll show you why I prefer stitching. If you don't have a sewing machine, if you have no means of stitching it, then I'll show you what you can do. Keep watching and you'll see what you can do to maneuver with your fabric so that you're tucking in your raw edges. Alright, so this is me. I'm gonna hem, let me call it hemming for now, one side of all my strips of fabric. I like to use a contrasting thread. You will see why once you've done the bracelet, just to make sure it stands out and to add to the pattern of the fabric already. You will see why, which will all make sense at the end when you see that, when you see the bracelet. So I'm gonna do this with all the strips of fabric. Yeah, like I said, you don't have to do this if you don't have a sewing machine. If you do not have a sewing machine, I'll show you what to do. So please keep watching. And again, if you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe and like my videos. Thank you. Alright, one more thing to point out: your glue must be fabric glue. Glue that can glue fabric, if that makes sense. So you can use Uhu if you have it. You can use the one I have here, it's Conta, or you can use a glue gun. A glue gun will also do for this one because you just need a blob of the glue. Yeah, unfortunately you cannot stitch this one because my bracelet is metallic. Again, the bracelets, I got them like 2 years ago from Mr. Price. I got a set of around 6-7 bracelets for 400 and something shillings, so it was quite a deal. But then they're just plain silver. I've never worn them, by the way, because I find them quite boring and quite big. So anyway, you can find your bracelets to work with, just feel free to grab some and use them. I'm sure you can even find plastic ones on the streets in the market. Just have a look for plain bracelets and you'll see them. So I have just finished hemming my pieces of fabric. So I'm gonna take my bracelet and then glue the inside. The inside is where the hem lies in of my fabric, and then I'm gonna tuck it under the bracelet. So I don't want it on top, I want it under. Okay, so I glue the wrong side, let's call it the wrong side because it's where the hem lies of the fabric, and then I'm going to tuck it under, as you can see me doing, under, and then I'm going to give it a nice pull and turn it around. Now the trick to doing this right is to make sure you're pulling your fabric every time you're doing it. You don't want to go around at the same place because then you'll never finish it. So every time, go around different place at an angle, as you can see, and yeah, you make some progress. Now look, this is the detail I was telling you about. So when I hemmed it with a contrasting thread, I got that line. And as I continue taking my fabric around the bracelet, I get an added pattern to it. So that is something I was anticipating. So it looks like there's a metallic spiral thingy going around as well, which is not. It's just a hem of the fabric. If you cannot hem it, if you have no means of hemming it, do not panic. Keep watching, because I got you, my friend. So this is where my first fabric ends. Remember, I said the longer your piece of fabric, the better. This is why I said that, because then you can get to go all the way around without necessarily adding another piece of fabric. But because mine are not long enough, I have to add a second piece of fabric. Okay, again, I have to glue the inner side. Now watch carefully, and you notice I glued the wrong side. You just watch. I don't know where my head was. Just watch. That's me gluing the wrong side, and then I think I realized, oh my goodness, that's the wrong side. So what am I gonna do? I mean, good thing with being a tailor and a teacher as I am is thinking on your feet. So yeah, so I had to fold it and tuck it in. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know I'm smart, right? And then I have to take it. Okay, yeah, you see the point. So technically, you would notice if I manage to get this done, which I will. Yeah, I'm trying to give it that nice pull so that it's nice and spiral, and the pull is there. Pull is very important, because then it gives your bracelet shape. You don't pull, you will end up with a very funny looking bracelet, and the fabric will come off, by the way. So give it a nice pull. Secret with this glue I'm using is, well, you're supposed to leave it on for like 10-15 minutes before actually pressing it onto whatever you're gluing, but I assume since it's fabric, it should do. So yeah, that's me at the end. So what do I do when I get at the end? Okay, I'll show you what I do. I will try and tuck in the raw edge, okay, so that at the end there's no raw edges protruding. So I'm gonna take my fingers and tuck it in. That's it. Now, this is me doing something that may not really work, and you will see why in a moment. And I just thought to upload this video with all the little mistakes so that you can learn something from it. Okay? YouTube videos don't have to be perfect. Come on. These things don't just turn out perfect. We edit a lot. And I thought instead of editing the bits where I went wrong, I should just show you where I went wrong. And probably you can learn from it. It might be the only thing you remember about the video. So this point, I shouldn't have done that. What I should have done is cut it before gluing it. And I'll show you why. Because I'll have to undo that gluing to cut the fabric. The scissors just won't go under the fabric. Okay? Yeah. So that's me. I had to undo it, chop it, yeah, and then tuck it in. Again, you want your edge, the very edge of your fabric, to be inside the bracelet. You don't want it to hang on top of the bracelet. You want it to go in. Now, can you see what that stitch has done to this bracelet? Can you see the detail it has added to the bracelet? A detail that would not have been there if I hadn't stitched. Okay, so if you're using a black fabric, you can stitch with yellow, and then you'll have a thin yellow line all around your bracelet, looking like that. Oh yeah, I had to put it. I just had to, because it's lovely. I love it. Alright, we're gonna put it aside. There's one I had worked on earlier as well, so I'm gonna put them both aside and do a third one with shorter strips of fabric. This is what happens. This is where the disadvantage is at. Okay, so one, that piece of fabric just ended. I just started and then it just ended. I mean, come on, it ends where it begins. Really? So there, that's it. It ended, and I had to get another one. I got a longer one this time. For some reason, this bracelet took so many pieces of fabric. I don't know why. I'm here to understand why. So yeah, okay, I have to keep covering this glue because if I don't, it spills in a very weird way that I quite don't like. So I have to keep covering it. Sorry for that. So yeah, remember what I said? That pull is everything. So my second fabric has to first go on top of the first one, okay, so that that end is neat, and then I take it round and round and round and round and round around the bracelet, around the bracelet, around the bracelet, around the bracelet to the end. Again, I glue it. This one, it doesn't matter where the edge is because eventually I'll cover it. Okay, so that's why you don't see me bothering with the scissors to cut it. So this one can end at the top because I'm gonna cover it with the next fabric. Now this is a fabric that I haven't hemmed, and I'm going to show you how to maneuver through the fabric. I told you I got you, and this is the part where I got you for real, for real, for reals, man. So here, I'm gonna put it on top of the first fabric or under, wherever, as long as it goes round where the first one, the previous one ended. That's what I mean. And then you notice I haven't hemmed it. So what I do is I do a tiny fold, like you can see. I do a tiny fold just to hide the raw edge. And then I take it round. Oh, there's something coming out of there. Ankara. Or rather, I like to think Ankara. From the video maybe. Alright, yeah, so that's what I mean. So yeah, you have to try and pull it. So I had to undo that bit just so I can pull the previous fabric straight and make it lie flat on the bracelet. So yeah, like I said, that has to go on top of it. And then I'm remembering to fold because I do not want the raw edge showing. Please fold so that your raw edge does not show. Okay? And then I'm gonna continue until the end of this fabric. Now notice already we've used 3 fabrics and it has taken up like 2 minutes of our time joining them together. What literally it has, I had to trim them out. So if you had one long strip of fabric, it would have just been you taking it round and round and round and round to the end, and probably the 3 minutes would have been reduced to one. I don't know, maybe. And we're just about to use the 4th piece of fabric, tiny piece of fabric. So there's an advantage in using a long strip of fabric, as you can see. Again, it doesn't matter where this one ends. Oh, I've disappeared. My hands have gotten tired, maybe. Oh, I'm back. Yep, it doesn't matter where it ends because the next one will come on top of that one first. Fast forward. So I don't take up all your time, so you can go and get started on this bracelet. Fast forward, and there we go. Again, kindly remember to subscribe. This is me asking, please subscribe. If you've watched this far, you have to subscribe to my channel, kindly. Thank you. And this is the 5th strip of fabric. Now you will notice this bracelet will turn out a bit bulky, especially where I'm joining it up, and it's all because of the many pieces of fabric. So if you can use one long strip of fabric, that would be better. That's the final bracelet, and thank you for watching to the end, guys. Bye bye.